First, you have to preheat the air fryer at 360 for 3 minutes. For the donuts, we're going to be using the Pillsbury 8 big biscuits with flaky layers. After you open the can, you'll want to take apart the biscuits and separate them into 8 different rolls. Next, you're going to want to use a small knife to cut a hole in the middle of each donut. You can either freehand the hole or trace something about the size that I'm cutting here. After you cut out the hole, you'll want to punch out the small donut hole in the middle, leaving one donut hole and one actual donut. Next, you'll want to cut out the holes for the rest of your donuts. Next, you'll want to cut up 4 tablespoons of butter and cook it in the microwave so that it comes out nice and melted with no chunks. Once the butter is in the microwave, you'll want to soften one stick or cook for about 50 seconds. While the butter is melting, you can stick your 4 uncooked donuts into the air fryer. Next, fry the donuts for 360 at 5 minutes. Once the butter is done, you can pull it out of the microwave. If you see chunks in your butter, you can take a spoon and stir until it's smooth. Now we're going to start our coat that's going to cover the donuts. First, we need sugar. We're going to pour half a cup of granulated sugar. The only other ingredient we're going to need is grounded cinnamon. We're going to use half a tablespoon of grounded cinnamon. After we pour the cinnamon and sugar into the bowl, we're going to mix them together until it makes a light brown. Now that the donuts are done, we can pull them out of the air fryer. Once you get your donuts out of the pot, you can start to brush them with your melted butter. Try and get as much surface area of the donut as possible. You can use a pair of tongs or your hands to rotate the donut so that you can get the melted butter on the bottom and sides. Now that your donut is buttered, you can drop it into your sugar and cinnamon mix. Using your hands or either a spoon, you want to try and get as much cinnamon on the donut as possible. If the cinnamon isn't sticking, you might want to try and use more melted butter. Now that your donuts are done, you still have the donut holes left over. You want to put the donut hole dough into the air fryer. Now that the donut holes are in the pot, you can put them in the fryer. You'll want to cook them at 360 degrees for 3 minutes. Once the donut holes are done, you'll want to do exactly as you did with the donuts and brush them with your melted butter using tongs or hands. Finally, you'll want to do just like the donuts and cut your donut holes in the sugar cinnamon mix. Try and get as much of the donut hole covered as you can. And that's it. That's how you make air fried donut.